My name is Oliver, and this video is to give some detail into the solutions as I'm suggesting for the M5 tunnel westbound. So, as we were explaining elsewhere, the traffic slows down basically because of the tunnel's exit, which has a steep hill to get out of the tunnel. So the solution in general first is that you're wanting vehicles to be able to apply full power with a gap in front of them, and that power application gives the truck or car or any vehicle to accelerate, to increase in speed. Hence the vehicles behind them also have a gap and can apply power and can increase in speed. And so then vehicle after vehicle, car after car can all in general start to speed up again. So it goes from say 40 kilometers an hour, 45, 50, 55, 60, all the way back up to 75 kilometers per hour, or just higher from wherever it was. For whatever reason caused the slowdown, a car didn't change gears properly, there was somebody cut in, could be anything, or breakdown, whatever. So that's in general what you're wanting to have done. It sounds very simple. A vehicle applies power, has a space in front of them that they can move into, and so like hundreds or 1,000 vehicles can all do the same thing. So everyone starts to speed up a little bit. That's basically you're healing the speed from 40 kilometers an hour back up to 75 or 80. Just by the way, M5 tunnel is an 80 kilometer an hour area legally. Okay, so that's in general what we wanted to have happen. Sounds simple, but as I was explaining elsewhere, trucks being fully loaded, often when they apply full power at whatever speed on the M5 tunnel, as they're kind of on the steepest part or the deepest part of that hill, they pretty much hold their speed or lose speed even with full power. And that's just the way it is just in that particular hill. Normally elsewhere it's not like that. So so the aim is to have that gap be further back from the start of the hill. So if that's the hill at the exit of the tunnel, if they have a gap in front of them that they can accelerate into further back down the tunnel, it means that they can get more of a run up, or they can accelerate so that they're hitting the bottom of the hill or halfway up the hill at a higher speed. Because once they get halfway up the hill, they pretty much hold their speed or drop down speed even with full power. So if they're applying full power at the bottom of the hill or halfway up the hill, it's kind of useless. It won't increase their speed. They'll be dropping. So the further back that they can have a gap in front of them, that they can apply full power or more power and gain an increase in gain acceleration, that means the vehicles behind them can also have a gap in front of them. So that's the aim of the game in general. Now, to get that to happen, two ideas. The first, very simple one, there's two lanes to have a solid white line from the exit of the tunnel to about halfway down or 3/4 of the way down the tunnel. Solid white line would seem to be a legal indicator to not change lanes. So through habit, people would know where the start of that white line would be, say halfway down, and then they would choose their lane accordingly and would be required to commit to staying in that lane. Now the reason why that's a good thing, and I'll explain in a second. So first of all, briefly, the second idea is also to give a feedback mechanism. So you record the average speed at the top of that hill, or the exit of the tunnel, which is going to be slow basically. So just say it's during peak hour, say it's 40 kilometers an hour. So you're telling the people at the start of the entrance, the entrance of the tunnel where the traffic comes in, that all the way up here is 40 kilometers an hour. Now they're usually coming in at 70, 75, 80, 82. And so they're basically going to be coming to a dead stop not dead stop, or they're going to be hitting traffic that's slower in front of them, and that's fine. But if you tell them, they tend to not rush so much, and they tend to be a bit more smoother and a bit more relaxed, basically emotionally patient, maybe, on average we're talking about. And so those people will be able to adjust themselves accordingly. So everyone, in general, the whole traffic is a little bit more, oh, it's 40 kilometers an hour, that's the way it is. So they kind of, through habit, know that there's no point going faster than, trying to stay at 75 if there's that gap in front of me, or I can apply full power. I may as well sort of just cruise at 60, or, there's no point in cutting in. Then if they're forced to choose a lane, they'll kind of like, which is the fastest lane at the exit? And in general, the right-hand lane, being the fast lane, they tend to go there. But what happens is every Tom, Dick and Harry goes there, so that slows down. So then they might choose the slow lane with the trucks because it's a little bit less empty. Anyways, this give and take thing. But anyhow, what also happens is that if the habit sticks with the majority of drivers and they don't change lanes, the trucks, once they get into that lane, and they usually take the left-hand lane, then they'll allow themselves to have a gap in front of them, because they can trust that nobody's going to cut in on them, because they know, well, I know as an individual driver, and I see other drivers do it, but not so much, that if there's a gap in front of me and I know that there's no one else around to cut in front of me, then I can have a bit more of a gap in front of me when I'm back here, so I can apply full power before I hit the start of the hill. So I'm basically going from 60 to 65, 70, and then I'm holding it at 70 and coming out. I'm going from 60, 65, or if I'm going from 40 and there's a gap in front of me, I can go 40, 45, hit it at 50. So basically I'm increasing acceleration. If I have the ability to do it back here, oh, that's so good. But I'm always kind of like, well, if I have a gap in front of me, somebody's going to jump in front of me. And then I don't have a gap. So there's a tendency to basically be close to the vehicles behind me, but again, that then just makes me not being able to accelerate. I'm hitting it at whatever the average speed is, which is usually 40 during peak hour. So that's the solution number one. Have the lane so people are discouraged to cutting in front. Therefore, I then trust to have a gap in front of me. It does initially slow down the vehicles behind me, but if I accelerate and the vehicle behind me accelerate, and the average bunch of vehicles can start to accelerate, that accelerates the whole traffic flow. We're talking 1,000 cars, 2,000 cars. That's how it starts to go through this cause of slowness. It starts to go faster and faster. It's not going to make everybody go 80, although it could, but it'll be faster than the way it is now. Solution number two is the average speed. So at the moment, when you go through roadworks, if it says 40 kilometers an hour and it's usually 80, they'll have this flashing thing saying, hey, you're doing 45 or 50. Never happens to me, just joking. But it feeds back to you how fast you're going. Very simple technology. So again, if you tell people the average speed, now you could do the average speed of both lanes. So the lane, and that would change. So depending on, we're talking about over a minute, because some cars obviously are able to accelerate on the steep incline, and trucks tend to decelerate on the incline. So that's what we're wanting to. So if you tell the average speed, that helps the drivers back here choose which lane they're going to commit to, and it tends to make people more relaxed if they know, if they can, well, through technology, see ahead of where they are. They know, it's kind of like Google Maps with traffic flow. If it tells you, oh, Parramatta Road is completely blocked, use a different road, or this road is completely blocked, use another road. It's kind of the same thing. It's just giving you some information to make a better choice, because pretty much everybody wants to go as fast as they possibly can, or use the fastest lane. That's the way it is. Whereas us trucks tend to always stay in that left-hand lane because we're always slow or decelerating at that hill. So the second idea is is more complicated than the solid yellow line, and the way it's displayed has to be in a way that it's not distracting. It's and the way the readings take the average speed, and needs to change pretty every 30 seconds or 1 minute. Basically, it's implying that it's going to give information that, so people kind of relax. So they, instead of, if it says 40 here, 80 kilometers zone up the top here, if it says 40 here, then the cars coming here should, if they're intelligent, half intelligent, figure that, well, going 38, if they're coming here, they should be like going, okay, eventually I'm going to be doing 40, 42, 38 to basically brake, because everyone kind of brakes too much, and then they'll see the gap in front of them and be able to accelerate. They've got their own lane. Oh, there's a gap in front of me, no one's going to cut in on me. I can accelerate to 42, 45, 46. Cars can accelerate more. Trucks will possibly accelerate, hold their speed, hopefully accelerating further back, and hold their speed as they're going up. So again, that increases the traffic flow in general over 1,000 cars faster and faster and faster. That's implying that there's no great increase of traffic coming in, but we're not trying to control the traffic coming in. We're just trying to speed up the acceleration of the traffic flow through here, well, from here to the top of the hill and further on. Thank you.